Dizziness after eating is a frightening experience, but it is caused by a very specific mechanical process in the body called postprandial hypotension. When you eat, your body must divert a significant amount of blood to the stomach and intestines to manage digestion. In younger adults, the heart pumps faster and blood vessels constrict to maintain blood pressure in the brain despite this diversion. As we age, however, this compensation mechanism slows down. The blood rushes to the gut, but the rest of the system does not adjust quickly enough, causing blood pressure to drop and leading to dizziness or lightheadedness. The immediate safety protocol. If you feel this dizziness starting right now or immediately after a meal, there are two specific actions you must take instantly to stabilize your system. This is the promise of the title, Handling the Immediate Event. First, you must change your physical position to work with gravity, not against it. Do not try to walk it off. Walking demands more blood for your leg muscles, which steals even more oxygen from your brain. Immediately sit down in a chair with armrests, or better yet, lie down on a sofa or bed. By lowering your head to the same level as your heart, you make it much easier for blood to reach the brain. If you are sitting, elevate your feet on a stool. This physical adjustment forces blood from the legs back toward the heart and brain. This is the most effective way to prevent a fall. Second, once you are safely seated or lying down, drink a large glass of water, about 12 to 16 ounces. Do not sip it slowly. Drink it at a steady, reasonably quick pace. You want to introduce fluid volume into your system rapidly. When this water hits the stomach, it triggers a reflex in the nervous system that helps slightly raise blood pressure. It also physically adds volume to your blood, helping to fill the vessels that have become too relaxed. This acts as a natural, immediate pressure booster. This helps the body stabilize quickly. Most episodes of post-meal dizziness will pass within 15 to 30 minutes if you remain seated and hydrate. Once the initial digestion phase settles, the blood will redistribute and your brain will receive its normal supply again. You can do this at home immediately. The pre-meal water strategy. While the first step was for an emergency, this second step is about prevention. You can actually prepare your body to handle the stress of digestion before you even take the first bite. This involves strategic timing of your water intake. About 15 minutes before you sit down to eat, drink a glass of cool water. This serves a different purpose than the emergency glass. This pre-meal hydration primes the circulatory system. When you drink water before eating, you're ensuring that your total blood volume is optimal before the heavy work of digestion begins. Dehydration is a major contributor to post-meal dizziness, because if your blood volume is already low, the diversion to the stomach leaves very little for the brain. This is simple to do and requires no special tools. Cool water is often better than warm water for this specific purpose. The cool temperature can stimulate the vagus nerve and cause a mild, helpful constriction of the blood vessels. This slight tightening helps counteract the widening that happens when you eat warm food. This fits into any routine. By making this a standard habit, a glass of water while you prepare your meal or wait for it to be served, you create a safety buffer for your blood pressure. You are essentially filling the tank before the journey begins. Most older adults can do this comfortably. The small plate adjustment. The volume of food you eat in a single sitting is the biggest trigger for this condition. The stomach is a muscular organ, and digestion is a metabolically expensive process. The larger the meal, the more blood is required to process it. If you eat a large dinner, the demand for blood flow to the gut is massive. The body has to route a significant percentage of your total blood supply to the abdomen to break down that large volume of food. This leaves the brain vulnerable. The solution is to switch from the traditional 3 big meals a day structure to 5 or 6 smaller meals. This is often called grazing or fractionated eating. This is easy on the digestion system. By eating a smaller amount, roughly the size of your fist, at each sitting, you reduce the demand on your circulatory system. The stomach does not need a massive surge of blood to handle a small meal. It can process the food with a moderate amount of blood flow, leaving plenty of pressure available for the brain. This helps the body function more easily. Instead of a large lunch at noon, you might have half a sandwich at noon and then a piece of fruit and some cheese at 3 p.m. Instead of a heavy dinner, you have a small bowl of soup at 6 p.m. and a light snack at 8 p.m. This keeps energy levels steady throughout the day. This approach also helps with nutrient absorption. Smaller meals are easier for an aging digestive tract to handle efficiently. You prevent that heavy, lethargic feeling that often follows a big meal, which is often a sign that the brain is slightly oxygen deprived. Most older adults find this adjustment very manageable. Carbohydrate management. Not all foods affect blood pressure the same way. Carbohydrates, specifically rapidly digesting simple carbohydrates, are the most likely to cause a sudden drop in blood pressure. Foods like white bread, sugary pastries, white rice and potatoes are broken down very quickly by the stomach. They move from the stomach to the small intestine rapidly. This rapid transit signals the body to release a large amount of insulin and other digestive hormones. These hormones have a side effect. They relax the blood vessels in the gut significantly. This causes the blood to pool in the abdomen. The faster the food digests, the faster and deeper the drop in blood pressure tends to be. This is a simple dietary shift. To prevent this, you want to focus on complex carbohydrates and slow digesting foods. Replacing white bread with whole grain bread or white rice with brown rice or quinoa makes a significant difference. These foods contain fiber. Fiber acts like a brake in the digestive system. It slows down the rate at which food leaves the stomach. Because the process is slower and steadier, the demand for blood flow is spread out over a longer period. There is no sudden surge of blood to the gut, so the pressure remains more stable. This helps reduce stiffness and dizziness. Pairing carbohydrates with healthy fats or proteins also helps. For example, do not just eat dry toast. Eat toast with a little butter or peanut butter. The fat slows down the digestion of the bread. Do not just eat an apple. Eat an apple with a handful of walnuts. This works well for most older adults to balance digestion. By slowing down the speed of digestion, you protect the brain from sudden shortages of blood flow. It turns a chaotic flood of digestive activity into a manageable stream. The 60-minute digestive rest. After you finish eating, there is a critical window of time where your risk of dizziness and falling is highest. This is usually within the first 30 to 60 minutes after the meal. During this time, the blood flow to the stomach is at its peak. The habit here is to institute a mandatory rest period after eating. Do not immediately get up to wash dishes. Do not immediately go out for a walk. Do not start cleaning the house. This is easy on the joints and safer for the brain. Plan to remain seated for at least 1 hour after a major meal. The best position is sitting in a comfortable chair, perhaps slightly reclined, but not lying flat. Lying completely flat can sometimes cause reflux, so a comfortable seated position is ideal. This allows the body to focus entirely on digestion. When you sit, your heart does not have to fight gravity to pump blood to the brain as hard as it does when you are standing. By sitting, you are lowering the demand on the heart. You are allowing the body to allocate resources to the stomach without compromising your stability. This is a simple change to your daily schedule. Use this time to read, watch television, or listen to music or a podcast. Make it a pleasurable part of your routine. Think of it as a safety appointment with yourself. If you must move, keep it to a minimum. This prevents the dizziness from starting in the first place. Many falls happen because a senior finishes dinner, stands up quickly to clear the table, and blacks out. By simply waiting for that hour, you allow the peak of digestion to pass. the blood begins to redistribute back to the rest of the body, and it becomes safe to move around again. Most older adults can integrate this rest period easily. Controlled transitions. Even after your rest period, or if you must get up during that hour, the way you stand up matters immensely. The transition from sitting to standing is a complex hydraulic challenge for the body. When you stand up, gravity immediately pulls blood down into your legs. To counter this, your nervous system must instantly clamp down on the blood vessels in your legs to push that blood back up to the head. After eating, your body is already distracted by digestion, so this reflex is slower and weaker. This creates a double hit to your blood pressure. The stomach is stealing blood, and gravity is stealing blood. This is why standing up after a meal is the most common moment for fainting. You can do this safely by using a technique called staging. Never stand up in one smooth motion. First, slide to the edge of your chair. Sit there for 10 seconds. Next, pump your ankles up and down a few times. This activates the muscle pump in your calves, mechanically pushing blood up toward the heart. Then stand up slowly, but do not walk away. Stand still while holding on to the chair or table for another 10 to 20 seconds. This helps the circulation catch up to the movement. During this pause, you can also squeeze your thigh and glute muscles. Clenching these large muscles compresses the veins and forces blood upward. It acts like a manual override for your blood pressure system. This works well for most older adults to prevent falls. Only when you feel completely steady and clear-headed should you take your first step. If you feel even a hint of wooziness, sit back down immediately. Do not try to push through it. This is a habit that builds safety into every movement. Strategic caffeine use. This suggestion requires a small disclaimer. This applies only if you tolerate caffeine well and do not have heart rhythm issues that caffeine aggravates. For many seniors with low blood pressure after eating, a small amount of caffeine can be a useful tool. Caffeine is a vasoconstrictor. This means it causes the walls of the blood vessels to tighten slightly. In people with high blood pressure, this is something to avoid. But in people suffering from low blood pressure after meals, this tightening effect can be medicinal. This fits into a morning routine easily. Having a small cup of coffee or tea with your breakfast can help counteract the relaxation of the blood vessels caused by the warm food and digestion. The caffeine prevents the vessels from opening too wide, keeping the pressure high enough to perfuse the brain. This helps the body maintain vascular tone. It is best to use this strategy primarily in the morning or early afternoon to avoid disrupting your sleep. You do not need a large amount. Usually about half a cup of standard coffee or a cup of strong tea is sufficient to provide the vascular support needed. This is simple to do and effective. Think of the caffeine as a gentle chemical support that helps the heart maintain pressure against the pull of the stomach. It works specifically well for breakfast, which is often when blood pressure is naturally lower for many people. Most older adults can try this safely if they already drink coffee. Finally, you must be aware of how the environment affects your blood pressure in combination with your meal. Heat is a vasodilator. It opens up blood vessels. This is why your skin turns pink in a hot bath. The blood is rushing to the surface to cool you down. If you eat a meal, your internal blood vessels open up to accept nutrients. If you then sit in a very hot room, or worse, take a hot shower or bath right after eating, you are forcing your blood vessels to open up even more. This creates a situation where the pipes of your body are too wide and the pressure drops significantly. The habit here is to avoid heat exposure immediately after eating. Keep the room at a moderate, comfortable temperature. This is easy on the body and prevents unnecessary stress. Absolutely avoid taking a hot bath or shower within that 1 hour post-meal window. The combination of hot water and a full stomach is a well-known trigger for fainting in seniors. Save your bathing time for before meals or well after digestion has finished. This protects the brain from sudden pressure drops. Also, be mindful of hot foods. While we enjoy hot soup, consuming very hot liquids can slightly raise the body's internal temperature and contribute to vasodilation. Letting your food cool slightly to a warm, rather than piping hot, temperature can be helpful if you are very sensitive to dizziness. This is a simple adjustment to your daily habits. Summary of protection. These 8 items form a complete strategy for managing post-meal dizziness. We started with the immediate safety protocol, sitting down and drinking water rapidly to boost pressure. We then looked at preventative habits, drinking water 15 minutes before a meal to prime the system and switching to smaller, more frequent meals to reduce the demand on the heart. We discussed the importance of choosing slow-digesting carbohydrates to prevent rapid pressure drops. We also covered the critical 60-minute rest period, the technique of standing up slowly with muscle engagement, the strategic use of caffeine to tighten vessels, and the importance of avoiding heat after eating. Each of these habits addresses the mechanics of your body. They are not about medication. They are about understanding how your blood moves and helping it get to where it needs to be, your brain. If you know someone over 50 who could benefit from this, share this video and subscribe for more simple health tips.